Is it working now? I think it is. All right, now we're good. There we go. Okay, we should be good. Welcome in, everybody, to OFL Bowl 25. That's a quarter century. What is good, Nick, SG, MP, Hector, Jax, Denmark. This is the last ever OFL 23 game. We still have the long-term sim stream. I know it didn't work last year. Will it work this year? I think so. I don't even remember why it didn't work last year. It was just super glitched last year. But hopefully it does work this year. We can get a long-term sim. We can see Daniel Godley win 7 MVPs. And all be right in the world before we move into OFL 24, which, of course, for those who need a reminder, the fantasy draft starts Wednesday. And within the next 24 hours, I plan on getting out to everybody the draft order, along with the roster of players who are going to be in the draft. So everyone will have a few days to get prepared for our big day. Is SG a top 3 coach of all? Well, if he's already at 2 rings. There is a handful of coaches who have 2 rings. But if he wins today, then he will be the only coach other than me with more than 2. So by default, that almost makes him top 2, right? And if this Bills team wins 3 in a row, then they tie the Niners run for 3 consecutive championships. And I would argue that the Bills' road has been a little bit harder. So I think if the Bills win today, they would pass my Niners team as the greatest singular OFL team we've ever had. Which is why I am rooting for the Dallas Cowboys, because I want my record to stand. And with that being said, there's a lot up for grabs for Buffalo, but also for Dallas as well. The Bills have won multiple OFL Bowls this cycle. Dallas wants to tie them in rings. Nick gets to join what is a pretty longish list of coaches who have 2 rings. There's like 4 or 5 at this point. Nobody has 3. I obviously have 4. Naruto does not have more rings than SG. They have the same. They both have 2. Yeah, SG has already made 3 OFL Bowls. You're right. He lost the one at the end of last year. Obviously, he's had the 2 wins in a row this year. And we'll see if they can complete the 3-peat. Nobody counts plumber rings. You mean you don't care about plumber rings because you weren't here? Even though the coaching roster was 90% as good, and my division was better, and my conference was definitely better. I still think it was harder for the Bills this year because there's more overall depth in the league, but I don't think it was drastically, harder. I think it's pretty similar. I would give the Bills the edge, but not by much. Anyway, we'll see if the Bills can get the job done, win 3 in a row, or if the Dallas Cowboys can get revenge on last year's great game. This cycle, we've had some really good OFL Bowls. We started with a couple solid games. This one was fun. We don't need to talk about this one. But the last 2 years in a row, we have been gifted 2 of the best OFL Bowls we've ever had, with the Bills winning a pair of thrillers. So for the last time in OFL 23, it's time to pick our user. It's a shame we don't have Siri with us on this momentous occasion. Siri is still on the disabled list. As our number generator lands on 1, we are already on the Cowboys, and both of you guys have already listed out your jerseys, which makes my life easy. All right, so the Bills want 2000s home jerseys. Let's scroll over here. Home pants, 90s helmets. Changing it up a little bit. Okay. And then Dallas wants normal whites. Perfect. Who do I think is the top 5 coaches in OFL 20, not including me, MP? You just listed a bunch of people who were not in OFL 20. Actually, I don't think any of those people would have been other than me. Hovey, I don't think came around until 21. And the other people who you listed are all new this year. That doesn't even make sense. Show the Madden 24 draft. There's nothing to show. I explained what I'm doing with the draft order 2 minutes ago. But basically I said that I plan on knowing it and revealing it within the next 24 hours. That's not the question. Oh, I see what you're saying. So the top 5 coaches then. In no order. Let me think. We've got Nick, Roberto, Alpo. Alpo's probably 1. RSV was a great coach. FG's a great coach. We had Walty. I wrote it down somewhere, but that's 6 guys who I think instantly would be tier 1 at this league, and only one of them is still coaching today, and he happens to be playing in this game against the Buffalo Bills. Me and MP could cook them. You have 1 playoff win. Let's get this show on the road here in Tampa Bay. The Cowboys are going to start with the ball. The last time we saw these two teams play against each other in Dallas had the ball, the Cowboys offensive coordinator completely shot himself in the foot. So let's see if the Cowboys will redeem themselves on this side of the ball. Both teams had some blunders in that game, but really I feel like Dallas should have won. And I mean, the Bills deserve to win because they capitalized off of the Cowboys' mistakes. But Dallas was in the power position for most of the game, including the end with like 5 minutes left. Didn't they have the lead and the ball? And they blew it. So in that instance, they should have been able to hold on to the lead, and they failed to. If the Bills get momentum, it's GG. Well, I don't think this will help them. Big start for Nick Chubb. By the way, we're doing the awards at halftime today, per usual. Nick and Ader DM'd me the results yesterday since he did the awards this year. If there's any complaints with the ballot, he made the ballot, not me. That's all I'm going to say. I approved the ballot. I did have some questions, though. Bryce Young. So I guess you can partly blame me, too. How are we in the Bucs Stadium if they relocated to San Antonio? That's a great question. The answer, I don't know. EA's just, like, kind of dumb. 2nd and 7. Here's Nick Chubb. Another good run for Chubb as he gets the first down. We've seen Joe Burrow, I feel like, at his best in recent Cowboy watched games, or watched opportunities, because I guess we've only watched one full Cowboys game this year, that obviously being the NFC Championship. Nick Chubb, I feel like, has had his ups and downs in watched this year, but so far so good today. Can all 31 coaches agree that Nick does not get Chubes? I agree. Please do not let him get Nick Chubb back next year. Any other running back's fine. Another nice run for Nick Chubb. The Cowboys are leaning into him early, as they should, because he is the man. Short throw, Mike Evans, going to need a big day out of him. Could we see Mike Evans retire, at least in the save file? It wouldn't surprise me. Give Nick someone like DeAndre Swift. Superstar development DeAndre Swift. They don't know about the Travis Etienne masterclass awaiting. Do they? 3rd and 1. Keep feeding the big fella. I don't know if he got it. I think he did. That was close. Honestly thought I was going to win a ring. He has a guy, the God Squad on both sides of the ball. The problem is, I don't have the only super team in the league. And clearly the Bills super team happens to be a little bit better than ours. And, well, that's been the difference. I have a great team. There's no denying that. The Bills are just better. Burrow for the end zone. It's watch game Greg Dulcich. You thought he wouldn't go out in style? The Cowboys march down the field on the opening possession of the game, and they score a touchdown. Every time we watch the Cowboys, Greg Dulcich has his 8 catches for 64 yards. And today, here in the OFL Bowl, he starts the game off with a touchdown. That was Nick Chubb's drive, but Burrow with a great pass to finish things off. Dulcich was wide open. I imagine they should have had Jalen Cattle on covering him, And Catalan now has superstar development in the Bills' defense. So he now has some new abilities. But clearly they did not impact that play. Why did SG jinx it with the no all Reds? I would have gone with the all Reds, but I mean, hey, the Bills haven't touched the ball yet. We haven't even seen their offense. Good kick return to the 27. And they wore, yeah, you're right. They wore these jerseys in the game last year, too. I prefer the all Reds, but they wore these in the OFL Bowl last year. So, because we're in Season 5, CTE is starting to settle in. Dak Prescott on 4th and 3, or now whatever the hell this corner was doing. I think the CTE might be setting in with you. That's not correct English. That sentence makes no sense. Is this the first repeat OFL Bowl ever? That's a good question. The answer is no. When I won my 3 straight rings in OFL 20, all 3 of them were against Alpo and the New England Patriots, who won the OFL Bowl the other 2 seasons. That pass nearly intercepted by Marshawn Lattimore. But yeah, this is only the second time, or I guess the third time we've had a repeat OFL Bowl. We had the Niners and Pats 3 years in a row. Other than that, we have not had a repeat bowl. TJ Watt with the sack on 3rd down. Not a bad start for the Dallas Cowboys. They drive down the field with no problem. They score a touchdown, and now they get a sack on 3rd down. It's early, but the Cowboys look very good. Is Alpo bad or Alpo? Oh my God, what a punt. Oh, the Cowboys dodge a bullet. I thought that was going to be on like the 1-inch yard line. That was close. Anyway, no, Alpo is very good. There's a reason why he made the OFL Bowl every year in OFL 20. He's really good. If he joined the league today, he's the... Oh my goodness, it's intercepted! Jalen Ramsey flips the game on its head. As I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted, if Alpo joins the league, he is the best trader we have by far. Not even close. He could fleece all of you. He could maybe even fleece me. He's like the one guy who I negotiate trades with, and I'm like, am I sure this is good? Whereas with every other trade negotiation, I feel like I'm kind of in control. But not with him. Anyway, Jalen Ramsey might have flipped the game on its head. The Cowboys were playing flawless for 6 minutes. The Bills forced the turnover, and they get the ball at the 20. I don't get fleeced. You don't know Alpo. You don't know him. He would rock your stuff. And that's not an insult to you specifically. That's like, this is to everybody. Trader and or trader. I meant trader as in like Trader, trading. Is Alpo from FGFL? Yes, that's where he comes from. And he, again, I think is the most talented, if you can even use talented in this sense, but I think he's the most talented coach I've ever seen. Isaiah Thomas on the run, throws it away. The games, you got to root for Nick and the Cowboys. The games, it's time for the Bills to book the parade. They've won 2 in a row. They're getting a 3rd. 3rd and goal. Thomas in the back of the end zone. It's broken up for Devin Wilcox. Big stop for the Cowboys defense, and Isaiah Thomas is 1 for 5. Invite me to the FGFL. I want to run with the top dogs. There's 2 problems with that. I've told you these things 4 times. Number 1, I don't have inviting privileges. And second of all, I don't think you and FG would mesh. At all. Even if I really wanted you to join, I don't think I have permissions anyway. This is the first OFL game I watched, and it's the last game of OFL 23. Well, you picked a good one. I think this is going to be a great game. Your band actually, good. That's honestly for the better. Am I a top dog? I would say no, for the one reason that we haven't seen you for a full cycle. I think you probably will be a top dog in a year from now, but I kind of want to see you run a team from start to finish, including the fantasy draft. Which is why with like you, MP, Lenny, you guys are all great coaches, but I haven't seen you guys fantasy draft. So that's why I made it as if you guys are not the best coaches within your divisions, because I kind of wanted to balance it out. Mike Evans is that guy. That was one hell of a catch. And the Cowboys might be back in business. FG doesn't even know me like that. He doesn't need to know you like that to know that you probably wouldn't mesh with him. Here's Nick Chubb. Another first down. Gets hit hard by Catalan. Is that the end of the quarter? Oh, no, there's still a minute. We know you. Exactly. There's enough of us here to know that Hector would not fare well in that league. Me when I draft Fred Warner in the first round. Good for you, I guess. Fred Warner's a good player. 2nd and 5. Nick Chubb breaks a tackle, breaks another. He might still lose yards. He does. Why? I wouldn't even. It's not even a level of coaching talent. You probably would be a bottom 10 coach, but that's not even the issue. It's not a matter of how good you are as a coach. It's a matter of, well, maturity. That's the word. Maturity is the word. There's a different level of maturity needed there that there is here. A flag on the play. I think that might be a late hit. I saw Burrow go back at the end of the play. Yeah, it is a late hit. So the Cowboys are going to get additional yards and an automatic first down. J.C. Horn, the slot corner with the roughing the passer. I'm excited for Little Ja and Danny's fantasy draft. I am as well, because both of those guys have significantly improved this year. I think they're both going to have good drafts. Burrow's, what the hell was that? No. We have to see that again. What was that? The ball bounced off of his helmet and then the play stopped. Wouldn't the ball still be a live ball? It never hit the ground. I'm so confused. Okay, why didn't the circle button work? I need to see this play. The Bills have younger, and I don't see how younger matters. I mean, their roster's better, I guess, by rating. And they have Will Anderson Jr., who's in for the sack, and that'll end the possession. Okay, anyway. What on God's name was that first down? That's so weak, EA. Come on. Is OFL an easy-to-learn thing or sort of hard to master? For me, I would say it seems a lot and overwhelming at first. Like, you might think, oh, this seems like a bit much. But I feel like once you get the hang of it, it makes a lot of sense, and it really isn't too hard. And I would say people kind of learn at their own speed. Like Little John Danny, for example, they kind of started off slowly, but then they figured it out. So I guess my best advice would be to try to take the initial fantasy draft pretty seriously because, I mean, that's the core of your roster. Sure, there's going to be a lot of turnover between the seasons, but you got to get that right. And then from there, just don't let yourself get fleeced by good trading coaches, I guess. We're doing the long-term sim, right? Yes, unless the game doesn't let me, which I sure hope it lets me. But assuming there's no issues, we will have a long-term sim. Here's Jonathan Taylor. He gets 1. The Danny coaching development needs to be studied. He really went from genuinely one of the lesser coaches to one of the better coaches within a very short amount of time. The Niners literally have, in terms of rating, a top 5 roster in the game. I think Danny could have schematically lined up his defensive players better. He runs a 4-3 and has edge rushers at outside linebacker. As Jonathan Taylor gets stopped on the screen. Big tackle by, is that Greg Newsome? Who's made some big plays in some big games throughout this OFL cycle. Your fantasy draft is your starting net worth for the rest of the cycle. Exactly. The fantasy draft sets the groundwork, and obviously you're going to have a lot of trades. And with like my roster, for example, I would say 70% of my players are not from the fantasy draft, but a lot of my key players from the draft are still here, like Chase Young, Jamison Williams, Trent McDuffie. They stuck around the entire way. Other pieces from your fantasy draft could have always been used in trades. Guys who I drafted later, like Baron Browning, were used to go out and help me get players like Derwin James. Burrow's going to go for a screen, and it does not work because the Cowboys just do not care to block. Joe Burrow's 9 for 11. He's really blown up today. I'm sorry, that was poor taste. SG is a little girl at play calling. A real man would have... They had it at like the 20-something. Why would they go for it? Here's Watch Game Dulcich again with another first down. Remember, I formed the best interior defense of all time. I mean, it's up there, yeah. Dexter Lawrence and Jonathan Allen is pretty good. It's 1 inch, just tush push. I don't care. You had it at your own 30. If you don't get it, you are in trouble with a capital T. If it's the fourth quarter, maybe you consider it. Not in the second. No. That's something that Brandon Staley would do. Burrow's gone short often on this drive, and, I mean, it's kind of worked. We'll see what he does on 3rd and 7. If Dallas can score here and take control, I think they can put themselves in a good spot. So this is a big play for Buffalo's defense. And remember, the Bills start with the ball, so they can put themselves back in a good spot if they get a stop, and they do. Burrow's pass is caught out of bounds, and they wouldn't have got the first down anyway. SG, Octi, and Nick all in the AFC. It is pretty crazy. Originally, we weren't planning on doing that, but the four admins figured it'd be kind of fun if we had our own divisions in the AFC, and then all of the next best coaches would go in the NFC. Why are you throwing short of the better question is, why are you throwing short of the sticks right at the sideline? And now the Bills can theoretically do some damage. That play was just a disaster from the start. Isaiah was under a ton of pressure. He had to kind of panic. And Jonathan Taylor was covered immediately. Play action. Isaiah Thomas goes downfield. It's caught. Inbounds by Devin Wilcox. Are there any open spots? Looks pretty fun. There are not currently any open spots, but I don't know if you come from the server or come from somewhere else. But here, in case you're not, I'll get the link, and then there's a way to put yourself on the waiting list. And welcome in, Boomy. How do I feel about the OFL 24 NFC West? I think on paper, obviously, C-Mill and Frank should be a fun rivalry. If you and Pokemon can make some noise, I think that division could be real good. Who had the idea to put me in the hardest division? That's not even the hardest division in the league. Every division has one really good coach. So you were going to get somebody tough regardless. Love the series with the Dragons. Looking forward to the draft. I appreciate it. And speaking of the draft, probably Sunday? Yeah, I think I'm planning for Sunday. So, for those interested. As there is Devontae Smith to the 18. The Bills are moving it. I meant hardest conference. I mean, is it really that much harder? We made the NFC a little deeper because I thought the top of the AFC was a little tougher, but not really. How is that not intercepted? Wow, the Bills dodged a bullet. Marshawn Lattimore had a touchdown right in his hands. Who's in the West team-wise? That's with the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Niners, which is C-Mill, Frank, Denmark, and Pokemon. I want to see how King and Godsend do in the sim. I appreciate the Daniel Godley respect. Malcolm Shockwave is going to be electric. Electric was hard for me to read there for some reason. Steal in round 4+. We'll see. How did he catch that? That was a bad throw. That was behind him. And he still comes down with it. Tyler Boyd to the 7. Who had the idea to not give me the Cardinals? Well, I guess all of us. Because that was the easiest way to make all the combinations work. And plus, you indicated that you wanted to go to Mexico or Toronto, so it didn't really matter where we put you, because you were going to move anyway, and all 4 divisions work for one of your 2 desired locations. So we figured we could put you just about anywhere. Had a way harder time doing the NFC for my playoff predictions. I think the NFC in terms of the talent gap is closer, so I can see why it would have been harder. Broken up by Lattimore. I don't think that would have been an easy interception for him, to his credit, after his last drop a few moments ago. So the Cowboys are going to hold on to their lead, and it's now 10-6. What do I think of the NFC East? I think the NFC East could be fascinating. Obviously, Hobie's the guy at the top of the division who seems to be the biggest threat. He had a great cycle this year. He came in late. I don't think we've ever had Hobie do a fantasy draft either. But I've seen Hobie do FGFL fantasy drafts. I know that he knows what he's doing. So I expect a big year out of him. I think Mr. Rob's the wild card because when he's active, he's really good. Original's a solid high floor coach, and then you're the new question mark who we don't know what to expect. So if you turn out well, and Mr. Rob stays at it, then we could have 4 consistently pretty good teams in the NFC East, just like this year, which would be kind of fun. Oh, I thought that was intercepted. I thought Trayvon Diggs was taking that the entire way. How will the fantasy draft order work? That's also a good question. Can't you like set the order manually this year? I'm not. We're going to do it randomly, but can't you like set it on your own? I don't know. Regardless, it's going to be completely random. I'm going to obviously set up all the coaches in the game, and then whatever the draft order is, that's what it's going to be. 3rd and 4, Burrow's got to get rid of it, and he does not. Big sack for the Bills, and they'll get a 2-for-1, only down by 4. Make sure, yes, I'm going to have to make sure it's a snake draft. That would be bad if I forgot. What are my thoughts on the AFC East? That's the division I'm the most interested in by far. Because obviously you have Nick at the top, and then you and Hector. I chose that out specifically because I thought that would be interesting. And after both of you gave me the sign of approval, I figured I could go through with it. And Cobra's pretty solid too, so I think that could be an interesting group. What do I think of the NFC South? I feel like people are kind of writing the NFC South off as like the worst division on paper, which I don't fully agree with. I feel like people are sleeping on Troy. I think if Troy doesn't tank for the first 3 years, he should be really good. Giddy's had some success. Pepper Jack has had some moderate success. And then again, you're the new wild card. Oh, I thought that was intercepted too. AFC North. I think people kind of think the AFC North is the best division. I don't blame you. That is a very good group. Obviously, SG, a lot of people seem to think that's going to be DPI. A lot of people think SG is the guy to catch, which considering he has 2 OFL bowls in a row, and they might take the lead in this one, because they're about to get the ball at the 10, I see why he'd be the guy to catch. MP, I feel like, could be a great second-tier coach, but we need to see a fantasy draft out of him. I think Kevin's quite good, but again, we need to see a fantasy draft out of him. And then the Browns coach is the new wild card. The Bills are out of timeouts. They could really mess this up. Do not run the ball. Okay, good. It's a pass, and he's sacked immediately by Donald. They should have enough time to run another play, and they don't! Aaron Donald with a giant play to hold the Bills off the board, and the Cowboys take the lead going into halftime. What a weird start. I feel like Dallas is kind of in control, but like not really. I have not been very impressed with the Bills' offense. Isaiah Thomas has not looked all that good. They haven't even tried to run the ball. For God knows what reason. They have Jonathan Taylor. Ooh, it's halftime, so that means it's awards time. So Nickinator only DM'd me the first place finishers. I should have asked him for the others. I just didn't think to. All right, let's go from bottom to top. Meme of the year. The winner is the Houston Texans, winning 7 games, taking home the AFC South. I think that's a good choice. I think it should have been either that or us. I unbiasedly voted for us. I say unbiasedly because I didn't think it was funny, but for everybody else, I thought it was. But the Texans winning 7 games and still winning their division is also hilarious. Coach of the year. That ends up going to Nickinator. The Eagles did not make the playoffs last year. This year they went 14-3, finishing with the best record in the regular season. Rookie of the years on offense. It's Denton Sins IV, the rookie quarterback for the Raiders, who threw for over 5,000 yards, leading them to the playoffs. And the defensive rookie of the year is Fanu Oloroso with the Bengals. Hooday! 13.5 sacks at defensive tackle. Offensive and defensive player of the years. Both of them happen to be in this game. The offensive player of the year was Nick Chubb because nobody cares about fumbles. And the defensive player of the year, obviously, Micah Parsons with 26 sacks. And last but not least, the MVP. It was a 2-horse race between Patrick Mahomes with the Eagles and Dak Prescott with the Geagles, the 2 Eagle teams. And ultimately, our final MVP for OFL 23 is Dak Prescott. On to the second half we go. I told Nickinator there was a polar bear within the awards. He thought it was him, but it was Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb did have a fantastic season. I voted for him second, but I don't think he should have won it over Josh Jacobs, who was significantly more efficient as a runner. We won't forget how I was absolutely robbed. I don't disagree. I voted you first place. Oh, wow, they actually ran the ball. I feel like even though they haven't run the ball well in the 3 times they've done it, they should still kind of try to, run the ball a little. IT goes deep. It's broken up. Good coverage. If the Bills don't score on this possession, I feel like that'd be a completely wasted opportunity because they had a 2-for-1 only down by 4. They didn't score their first try, and they're not going to score this time because Sauce Gardner apparently has brick hands too. Dallas has had like 3 wide-open interceptions dropped. Isaiah Thomas is not playing a good game. He played pretty well in the first one. He obviously had the big throws at the end. Actually, now that I think about it, wasn't IT kind of bad in that game too, other than the end? Obviously, he made the 2 big throws to win the game. But he has not played well today at all. 3 drop picks, but Jalen Ramsey gets to turn into Superman. Yeah, pretty much. That was a risky throw. Joe Burrow was asking for trouble. The Bills have been in this situation before. You're right. This feels eerily similar to last year. They've been in this situation. They've won it. I don't know if I would say I wouldn't be worried, because Dallas has been in this situation too. They know what not to do. Here's Greg Dulcich with the first down. On the flip side, though, there's still 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. It's still anyone's game. Dallas has the edge. They've been the better team so far, but they're only up by 4. The Bills, for now at least, are fine. Dallas was the better team for most of the last game, too, and they lost. I have vetoed this game and replaced it with the Bengals and the Eagles. I agree. That's a great idea. I speak for all of us when I say that would be a better game. A Hector OFL Bowl appearance. Imagine a Hector OFL Bowl ring. It's intercepted again! You didn't think we'd get a Trayvon Diggs interception today? You thought wrong. The Bills with another turnover and another opportunity for the offense to do some damage. The Bills have arguably the 2 best corners in the league on the same team. You should know not to throw to them. Apparently Joe Burrow does not get the memo. He should not have caught that. He should have let it go. It's a loss of 2. Remember, in an alternate universe, me or Hector make an OFL Bowl. I don't even think that happens in an alternate universe. Let's be serious. Nick Chubb has demanded a contract from the Eagles. I don't think it works that easily. The Cowboys could franchise tag him. 2nd and 12. Here's Thomas. If he gets that ball a little quicker, that could be an interception. Joe Burrow has been dangerous with the ball. Isaiah Thomas has been more dangerous. He's just been luckier. 3rd and 9. Thomas under pressure. He is sacked. TJ Watt again. This Cowboys defense, particularly the front unit, has been unreal. This pass rush has been Dallas's MVP today. Watt, Donald, even Alex Highsmith, all these guys are saving them. Isaiah Thomas looks lost. I told Nick and Nader Isaiah Thomas should have been on the MVP ballot instead of Bryce Young. In hindsight, I still think that's true because it's a regular season award, but geez, he does not look good. I also said that Isaiah Thomas was probably the best drafted quarterback we've had throughout this cycle, and yeah, that's not aging too well right now. Never compare Trevor Lawrence to... Yeah, Isaiah Thomas is better. What are we doing? I get that Trevor Lawrence had a great season this year. You could argue Trevor Lawrence was better this year. That's fine. In general, no. Trevor Lawrence was worse than this. As bad as this is, he was worse. Why are they running screens? Here we go. Offensive coordinator of doom is back. Dallas's offense looks so fluid on the first drive of the game, and it's like they've forgotten how to play offense. Oh my God, they ran another screen. Did they not see the last one lose 4? The offensive coordinator's back, throwing the game again. This is literally last year's game on repeat, but in Tampa Bay instead of Miami. It's literally the same game. but with a little less points. Jeez, this is brutal. Fire Nick, give me the team. I wouldn't be calling plays like this. If Nick loses another OFL Bowl because of his play calling, that'd be unfortunate. Boink, incomplete. Is that going to be a DPI? There was some contact. I don't know about that. I don't think I would have made that call. Chris Jones is hurt. Jeez, things are kind of unraveling for Dallas. Yet they're still winning. I don't think either of these teams deserve to win. Can we be here instead? We're worse than these teams, but not by much. We wouldn't be playing this bad. Jonathan Taylor loses 2. This is like beautifully awful. This isn't as good of a game as the last 2 seasons, but it's like a beautiful mess. This is art. Even if it's like art that the special kid makes, it's still art. 3rd and 11. Thomas. Boink. Sauce Gardner and now Aaron Donald's hurt. Why is he throwing it right to the corners? I don't think that's an easy play for Sauce Gardner to get the interception, but like he literally threw the ball right at Sauce Gardner. I don't know how Isaiah Thomas has not been intercepted. I don't. This game is not worse than the Rams and Eagles. Nothing would be worse than that. If I was in Madden, what would my overall in dev be? I know slow development is not in the game. They would bring it back just for you. Hitler versus Stalin is these 2 offensive coordinators. I have nowhere to throw the ball. Then don't throw it to the defense. Throw it away if there's nobody open. That was a risky throw, targeting Trayvon Diggs. I don't think that's a great strategy. It worked, though. Zakai Ross gets a first down. So, there you go. Is Trayvon still in the zone? Oh, I see it at the bottom of the screen. Yup, he still is. I would not throw the ball his way. Chubb goes backwards. Nick Chubb was so good on the first drive of the game, and it's like the Cowboys have forgotten how to run the ball. That's why their offense has fallen apart. The run game looked brilliant to open things up, and now they look awful. And because of that, the passing game isn't as opened up, and that's lead to the passing game being a lot worse. So, like, that was my chair, by the way. I didn't just fart. 2nd and 12, 5 wide. Joe Burrow, what are you doing? He is intercepted for a 3rd time. J.C. Horn picks it off. This is a travesty. This is how we're finishing OFL 23. This is a mess. Put Cocky in the game. I know I'm not allowed to, so I'm not going to. But believe me, you don't know how bad I want to put Cocky in the game. You don't know how bad I want to do that. And now the Bills get another opportunity with a turnover. They have to capitalize at some point, right? They have to. We want the butt cannon. This is the man that's better than Mac. He's not better than Mac. Have a battle of the backups. Who's the Bills' backup again? Oh, they have SpongeBob SquarePants. I can't even touch the Bills' depth chart because I'm using Dallas, but... Is FG agrees, can you sub Cocky in? I don't know. If I could change the Bills' depth chart, then yes, but I can't. So I feel like that still would not be fair, even if he agrees. I have 2. It does not let me touch the Bills' depth chart. I know I have 2 controllers. It does not let me. Jordan Davis is hurt. That's the entire interior of their defensive line. Here, let me show you guys this whole depth chart. Yeah. Oh, I can't. Never mind, the game is broken. All right, now it's 3rd and 9. I can't even change it to Cocky if I want to, so you can't get mad at me for that if the Cowboys lose. Thomas throws it away this time, and so the Cowboys are going to hold on to who's this guy? Big white dude. Bradley. I guess he's getting snaps now that the entire Dallas defensive line is hurt. I've done it on 24. This isn't 24, though, but that is good to know. What a high-scoring affair. This game has been as dreadful as the score suggests. Both of the quarterbacks look awful. You guys think Daniel Godley's inconsistent? If he played like either of these guys in this game, you guys would never let me hear the end of it. Kicker for MVP. Honestly, at this point, yes. Harrison Butker's 3 for 3. I don't know how Dallas is still winning. They have not scored a touchdown since the opening drive. Joe Burrow's thrown 3 picks. They've forgotten how to run the ball. They cannot make a good play call to save their lives. And they're winning. This is exactly like Super Bowl 53, yes. Dallas just needs I think if Dallas scores a touchdown, they're in a good spot. The problem is, what have we seen in the last 3 quarters other than the first drive to suggest that they're going to do that? I don't think he got it. Nope, 3rd and inches. They got to run the ball up the middle. Get the yard. They should not throw it. It's that simple. That's all they had to do. Chubb gets 5. What are Butker's MVP odds? 12 to 10. He's the MVP. Unless one of the other corners gets another interception, I cannot argue against that. There's nobody on offense who deserves it, even with a great drive. Isaiah Thomas has been so bad, he does not deserve it. Here's Mike Evans. Good play. What happens if Dallas wins the game? Who gets the MVP? It's not going to be Burrow. Unless Nick Chubb pops off late, it's not going to be him. I don't think any... I mean, I guess one of the 2 pass rushers, Watt or Donald. The only guy on offense I'd consider is Greg Dulcich, who has like 3 catches. Now, I will point out, the Cowboys are actually starting to look good on this drive. They have it at the 34. They're actually kind of moving the ball. I still don't trust them because this team has turned the ball over 3 times. But they're running the ball efficiently. That was the big deal on the first drive. They ran the ball well, and that's exactly what they're doing here. They should run it again on 3rd and inches. Why are you in shotgun? You should run the ball. Why are you throwing it? Okay, that's why. It's because they have watched Game Dulcich to the 10. When in doubt, get the ball to Greg Dulcich. If Chubb scores, he's the MVP. I mean, maybe. Chubb had a really good first drive. He's been pretty good here, but other than that, he's pretty bad. What was that? Oh, he's throwing it to Dulcich. Never mind. I thought he was going to be intercepted again. Dulcich has 7 for 88. Yeah, he might be the MVP right now. He is the only touchdown, keep in mind, as well. 3rd and 4, biggest play of the game. Actually, no, Chubb's a receiver. That's right, this is the Panthers playbook. Burrow's got to look for Dulcich. He does not get Dulcich. He's got somebody else. It's incomplete. What a hit by Nick Overton to maybe save the game. Dallas has to kick. Now, a touchdown would have only made it an 8-point game. That is still technically 1 score. But now, the Bills can take the lead with a touchdown. But the same thing we talked about Dallas just now, do we actually trust the Bills to get a touchdown? No, because they haven't done it all day. That's also what we said last year. And Isaiah Thomas whipped up 2 60-yard dots to win the game. So I will not doubt the Bills if they come back and Isaiah Thomas has some miraculous throw. Because he did it last year. Dallas should have faked it. They absolutely should not have faked it. It's Tom over. I don't think so. Isaiah Thomas has been in this situation before. That could have been intercepted too. Instead, it's a first down, though, for Dallas Goedert. I would not feel good if I was either coach. I would feel like disgusted. I would feel like I lost already, and one of these guys isn't going to lose. Isaiah Thomas, you are on the clock. Okay, there's a good throw. Goddard gets about 4. Or I can't count. He gets 6. I saw the 2nd and 4. And, you know, math can be a little hard. Play action. Here's Thomas under pressure off his back foot. It's incomplete. He was kind of open for a while. Still a ballsy throw. Dallas is the 28th passing defense. I guess that's because teams play behind against the Cowboys. I guess that kind of makes sense. I believe. I don't believe, but I do believe. 3rd and 4. Thomas floats it up, and it is caught by Jonathan Taylor to the 41. He just head tapped that corner on his head. Mossed him. And so the drive continues. The Bills are not looking too bad. Isaiah Thomas looks pretty comfortable in the pocket for the first time all day. 2-minute warning. This is it. Dallas leads by 4. The Bills, for the first time all day, appear to be marching it down the field. You thought the Bills' devil luck wasn't gonna keep going for one more game? They get the first down. Following play, Thomas hit by Highsmith. It's caught by Devontae Smith. He gets 2. Dorian That's 4 interior defensive linemen for the Cowboys hurt. They're going to have nobody. They're going to need their offensive linemen to come in. Defensive tackle Penei Sewell is into the game. Jeez. It's a screen. Why are we running screens, you morons? Thomas loses 2. Now it's a 3rd and 10. Bills are not calling their timeouts. Thomas, with time, goes short. There's a fly. If that's a roughing the passer, he's on the ground. That is. Oh, my God. The Bills' devil luck continues on 3rd and 10. That might be the most stupidest penalty I've ever seen. How do you hit him late in the most important offensive play of the game? Jonathan Taylor has 9 carries for 11 yards. 2nd and 11 with a minute. They are getting closer and closer, but they're moving slow. Now at the 5, 3rd and 3. Here's Thomas under pressure in the end zone. Incomplete. He caught it, but he was out of bounds, and it's now 4th down. Here we go. They might run the ball. They have 1 receiver in the game. 2 tight ends and a fullback. It's Taylor. I think he got it. Yup. He just barely gets it, and the Bills call timeout number 1. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this. That was close, too. But, yeah, he got it. That roughing the passer call is unbelievable. How do you make that boneheaded of a play? Thomas under pressure. Nice hit by Newsome. That was in his hands. My heart is beating, too. This is intense. 2nd and goal from the 2. Broken up by Kyle Hamilton. Can't watch. I don't know if I could watch if I was you either. I don't blame you. 3rd and goal. I think they're going to keep throwing it. You have 2 timeouts. You can afford to run it. It's intercepted! Greg Newsome wins the game for the Cowboys. Oh, my goodness. They could have ran the ball. They had 2 timeouts. It was only a matter of time until Dallas got a turnover. Isaiah Thomas has been throwing it to the other team the entire game. It was only a matter of time. They literally pulled a Seattle. They threw the ball when they could have ran it. They threw it on 1st and 2nd down, and it doesn't work. So why do you keep throwing it? If he had 0 timeouts, I would get it. I would understand. But with 2 timeouts, I can't explain that call. I cannot explain not trying to run the ball. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to finish off the job. 3-peat denied. Greg Newsome, who was one of the best players of this OFL cycle, is the one who gives Nick ring number 2 in one of the all-time classic OFL Bowl finishes. This game was a dumpster fire, but man, was it a fun dumpster fire. Octi's mother is dialing the ambulance thinking he's going into cardiac arrest. That'd be a good decision because I am literally going in cardiac arrest. That was wild. I don't see how you can give the OFL Bowl MVP to somebody other than Greg Newsome. He was making plays all day, and obviously the one at the end, that's the biggest play of this OFL cycle. That might be the biggest OFL play ever. Actually, 2nd. Remember the time when Nick gave up a Hail Mary in the divisional round of the OFL 21 playoffs? Well, that can't hurt right now because Nick now has 2 rings. And he joins the long, illustrious list of coaches with multiple championships denying the Buffalo Bills three-peat. So in our OFL 22 or OFL 23 cycle, the Bills make the OFL Bowl 3 times. The Cowboys make the OFL Bowl 3 times. They both go 2-1. They both split against each other. What a fitting ending to this OFL Bowl cycle. Wow. What a game. That was incredible. Congratulations to both of you guys, even though SG just, lost. But congratulations to both of you on fielding two incredible teams for an incredibly awful game, but it was our awful game. Greg Newsome should have been one to hold the trophy on the whatchamacallit, on the little podium. Not Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was bad. 22 of 30, $196, 3 interceptions. Now I will say, I think all 3 of those interceptions were more so a ridiculous play by the defense, but still, Joe Burrow had to do a better job of keeping the ball in harm's way. Now I will point out, he was better than the other quarterback. Isaiah Thomas was dreadful. I'm sorry. He was awful. He put the ball in harm's way the entire game. Dallas had to have had 5 dropped interceptions, and eventually those drops caught up because Greg Newsome actually caught it. We voted Mickey Mouse ring. Who gets the real ring? On the ground, Nick Chubb was up and down. That's more than Jonathan Taylor can say. The Bills never really tried to establish the run, and when they did, it didn't go well. Now, with that being said, they should have ran the ball at least once on the goal line. First down didn't work. Second down didn't work. So, again, if you had no timeouts, I would understand, but they had 2. Todd gets the real ring. Not Kevin? My vote's for Kevin. In the receiving game, Greg Dulcich was the star of the show. He was the best offensive player on the field, which, to be fair, he didn't really have any competition whatsoever. Maybe Dallas Goedert. Handful of drops. Okay, Dallas even had a drop. Yeah, Greg Dulcich was the only guy on offense who showed up across the board. At least I can say I was the guy who got IT ring. You're absolutely right. Isaiah Thomas is cursed. The thing is, the Bills were too good last year that somehow overpowered the curse. Todd and Kevin both get the ring. So you're telling me, if I don't blow a 24-3 lead, I would have another ring right now? I hate it here. Micah Parsons, 5 tackles for loss, 3 for Roquan. TJ Watt had a great game. Will Anderson was great. Aaron Donald was great before he got hurt. Both pass rushes, both front units were brilliant. And obviously a bazillion interceptions. Ramsey early in the game when it looked like Dallas was going to steamroll. Trayvon Diggs with the big play. J.C. Horn with a huge interception. But obviously none of them are as impactful as this one by Greg Newsome to win the game for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to miss hearing your voice. I have another stream this weekend for the long-term sim, and we're going to be back for 24 on Wednesday. And I'm going to upload again, today. How do I feel about my 3-peat record status? I'm happy that I keep it. You can still make the argument that either the Bills or the Cowboys are better than us. But in terms of championships, I still got that in my back pocket. Give the OFL Bowl MVP to Braden Mann. All right, let's see who they're going to give it to. It has to be Greg Newsome. If not him, I guess Greg Dulcich. It's got to be Greg Newsome, though. It's got to be. We've had a defensive OFL Bowl MVP, I think, every year. I think every season. And it should be the case again this year. Greg Newsome II, OFL Bowl 25 MVP, as it should be. Let's check. The symbol was Josh Jacobs, Bengal legend, hooday. Then it was Josh Allen, and then it was all defense, right? Because you're white, Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey, Greg Newsome. 4 in a row. Give me freedom, give me fire, give me my teammates carrying me, or I retire. Joe Burrow. Literally. Weekly awards. Actually, I wanted to guess. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm going to guess without seeing it. It's got to be Dulcich, Goddard, one in the corners. I'll say Jalen Ramsey, and then Newsome. Oh, they gave it to Horn. Okay. I'll take it. 3.5 out of 4. I'm giving myself a half a point for the defense because it's like they all were the same. Does the symbol count as an OFL Bowl? I count it. If you call it a Mickey Mouse ring, you're not entirely wrong, but I would count it. I love how it says Super Bowl champion Chicago Cougars, but they're still the Giants. Remember the Giants were here in OFL 23? Long-term sim today. It will not be today. That's a lot of simulating to do, and I don't think people feel like looking at a simulation screen. So, I think that just about does it, right? I don't think we have anything else to go over. It's not like I have an off-season to begin because we don't have one. The sim bowl was OFL Bowl 19. Yes, it was. Horn's interception was super impressive. He, like, jumped in the air. That play was sick. The Giants got more rings this cycle than the Eagles did playoff wins. And the Giants were not even a team other than the sim year. Can we see retirements? That's fine. 60-year sim tomorrow. I'm not simming to the draft. I have to put everything on auto. You know, I shouldn't have just simulated because now re-signings aren't going to happen. Oh, that was a mistake. Shoot. I shouldn't have done that. No one's going to be re-signed now. Oh well, I guess we're having a free-for-all in free agency. Who even would be a free agent this year? Whatever. It's fine. I'm kind of curious, though. Derwin James. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Octi's rigging the long-term sim. I guess so. It's fine. I don't think there's that many super significant free agents because like all the top draft picks should have been extended by now. Let's look at their retirements, though. Tyron Smith, DJ Reader, Evan Engram, Travis Kelce, Amari Cooper. He was phenomenal this cycle. Shaq Barrett, Cooper Kupp, Mason Rudolph. I'm curious to see if we have any Cowboys or Bills because they had some older players. Darren Waller, Money Badger, Bobby Wagner, Aaron Donald, Kevin Byard, all retire as champions. Brandon Cooks, Dalton Reisner, former Meme of the Year candidate, if you know, you know. Alvin Kamara, Matt Milano, Keenan Allen, Devondre Campbell, Tyler Boyd. Devontae, no! Not Devontae. We'll be fine. I'm surprised the Bills only had one. I guess everybody wants to run it back after getting heartbroken. Kevin Byard hurts. He's an OG. Oh, yeah, he was an OG. I forgot. I thought you traded for him, but now that you say that, I remember you picking him. I thought we were going to see the Cowboys offensive coordinator in here, and that would have been deserved. I think I just lost. I'll go through every team. If there's somebody who the game would re-sign, I'll do it for you. I'm not going to do it for everybody. Like, I won't do it for Derwin James. He is an important starter for us, but, like, I'll make sure your quarterbacks are under contract for the first year. And then after that, everything will be on auto. So, like, if we let go of Godley, we let go of Godley, which would be stupid, but yeah. Devontae Adams, London legend. Remember, flashback to that one playoff game where he, like, owned the Houston Texans? Hell no, don't re-sign Burrow. Okay, that's fine. We want it. You're not getting it today. That's, like, a lot of simming. I'm not doing it today. I'm probably going to do it Sunday. I feel like we need a day to decompress. We had the OFL Bowl today, team reveals yesterday. I'm going to be setting up for stuff tomorrow. We need a day to decompress. I think I'm going to try to stream it Sunday. I don't know when, because I obviously don't want to do it during football. So maybe before the games? I don't know. I'll figure it out. We're going to make it work. Push comes to shove, we could always push it back to like Tuesday afternoon. So I'll let you guys know what the plan is on Sunday for the long-term sim. And that'll do it. Thank you all for a great OFL 23 cycle. It's been a blast. We're not done, though. We got a long-term sim to do, but well, everything that you guys have been able to like control, you guys are done for OFL 23. Little Jaw has a rat in his room. Okay. Congratulations, Todd and Kevin, on your rings.